Okay, in step 4, which is exploiting or attacking a system, your attack will vary depending on what your target is. So let's say we have identified an Active Directory server to attack. That would definitely not be easy because Active Directory uses a security mechanism to encrypt the database. The hardening of a system is based on the knowledge of the IT administrator. So, let's say an Active Directory system is definitely using LDAP as a communication protocol. If our IT administrator has forgotten to secure the LDAP communication, well, it's going to be a pretty easy job for a hacker or a penetration tester to attack that system. But if the administrator has done his job completely, it's going to be a harder mission. So let's use something other than Active Directory. All right, so if we have defined a regular Windows computer belonging to any user as our attack target, we can then use different systems or techniques to actually attack that target. So let's check out what we have in the Kali Linux applications. We can start with the first attractive thing here, and that's password attack. We have many tools to use to attack a Windows machine. Of course, other machines are vulnerable to password attacks. We have all the tools necessary to perform offline or online attacks. GPU tools are faster and can give us faster results, but we'll need a bigger GPU on our system. So now, pretending that we have access to the network, we can start using sniffing and spoofing. Now, once you're on a network, sniffing and spoofing are very good attacks to perform. They give you great results. They can give you an enormous amount of data to work with, to use for planning for your next attack, or maybe even your attack stops here. Now, actually stealing some amounts of data depends on what your plan in your penetration testing is. Now, if sniffing and spoofing are not enough for us, or password attack isn't an option, or it's enough but we want something more, we've got some other things we can do here. We can go, or we can move forward to exploiting the system. Now, check out exploitation tools. We have two giants in the exploitation. One of them is Metasploit. The other one isn't here, but it's called Core Impact. Core Impact is not released as a free tool or even a demo tool. It can only be purchased, and to be honest, it's very expensive. Metasploit has a free version that has already been installed in this distribution, so we can use it. We can plug this on Metasploit and see most of its capabilities right here. But of course, in the paid or commercial version, we will have more features to use Metasploit. Metasploit also has another version with a graphic interface for Windows users. If they like to use it on a Windows machine, they can still do that. Now, before using Metasploit or exploiting the system, you will need to make sure that you are using the correct exploit. This is really a big topic to discuss, but I'm going to try to make this brief. Basically, you're going to need to do some vulnerability analysis using the tools available here, or using a specific tool or the tool that you like. So maybe it's not here. So you will need to do some vulnerability assessment on your target system. Now, whether it's a database system or just another network server performing service, you will have to assess the system, discover what the vulnerable ports are, what the vulnerable services running on that system are, and then find the right exploit for the vulnerable service. Then at that point, try to attack that service. So everything comes in order. First, you may try spoofing the communication, the data transmit on the network. You may try to attack passwords to gain control of the system, or you may even try to find vulnerability for a particular system and then use an exploit to attack that vulnerability and maintain your access there. Now, with the exploitation, the system, and gaining access, the penetration test is complete. The only difference is that if an attacker is trying to exploit or hack a system, he still has another step to do, which is covering tracks or covering traces. Now, as a rule, hackers really don't want anyone to know that they were on your system or network, so they will try to cover every trace that will show that they were there doing this or that. So the final step in the hacking methodology is covering your tracks. The final step in penetration testing is when you exploit a system. You don't really need to delete the logs to cover your tracks because your client knows that you are trying to exploit or attack his system. He only cares about exploiting his system. So now, if your client definitely wants you to cover your attack to check out if he is vulnerable to these things, then he cannot really trace a hacker back, and that would be another step for you to perform.